There's a very challenging line in Christopher Nolan's latest epic movie, Interstellar, where Cooper, played by Matthew McConaughey, is sitting on his front porch after a dust storm, and he says this, he says, "We used to look up at the sky and wonder at our place in the stars. Now we just look down and worry about our place in the dirt." What a line. Our place in the dirt. Life on this planet does seem somewhat messy as we come together and celebrate Christmas of 2014. It would seem that much of the planet exists in a state of chaos and strife and pain. From the terror that multitudes are facing in the Middle East, to the continuing loss of life in West Africa, to the struggles of the innocent in Ukraine, to the murder of 2 policemen in New York City. People are, as the old-time preacher would say, in need of a Savior. Here in our country, the last few weeks, many of our young, many of our old have been shouting, "I cannot breathe." If you see the movie Interstellar, you know that it's about the human condition. It's about survival. It comes to us at an interesting point in our history when we might look at the world events and question the possibility of our survival on this planet. But in the midst of all of this messiness, we gather once again to celebrate Christmas. We gather this evening to be reminded that there is in each one of us as human beings a tremendous ability to surmount the evil around us and to build a new world. Throughout that movie, it's very interesting. The words of Dylan Thomas are repeated again and again. "Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light." Christmas calls each one of us to not deal gently or complacently with the darkness around us. Certainly, Pope Francis leads the way. He's challenged all world religions to come together against the terrorism of ISIS. He's even challenged our cardinals and bishops. He constantly reminds us that we are responsible to make sure that the light conquers the darkness. And this is the challenge of Christmas of 2014. We must not allow the darkness to destroy the light. The darkness of ISIL, the darkness of Ebola, the darkness of inequality and racial bigotry, the darkness of poverty and terrorism, the darkness of egomaniacal leaders who do not have the interests of humanity at the forefront of their minds. Now, if you've seen the movie, you know that Interstellar is somewhat scary. The theme is that at some point in the not-too-distant future, the world becomes increasingly uninhabitable to humans. The food supply is afflicted by blight, and the world becomes a giant dust bowl. America no longer has a military and has ceased to lead the world in innovation and technology. In this dystopian future, the decline of American greatness seals the fate of our planet. It's only a matter of time before human beings on Earth will all die of asphyxiation and lung disease. So there's a farmer and a former astronaut, Cooper, played by Matthew McConaughey, who is tapped to lead a mission into deep space to find a habitable world in order to rescue the human race from extinction. There's been a great debate about the film as to whether there's any religious sense to it, whether there is any belief in God, or is it just about secular humanism. But what the film really portrays is hope, new life out of ashes. The primary focal point is the Father's love for his daughter and how he would do anything, even travel to the ends of the universe, to save her. This is exactly what we celebrate this evening, what we as Christians know as the meaning of Christmas. A God who loves us so much, loves his creatures so much, that he would do anything to save us. Even send his Son to become one of us and show us the way to get out of the dirt and breathe again. Now, Christopher Nolan doesn't provide solutions to the human condition. He does not give us a Christ figure. What he does in the film is he delves deeply into our desire for salvation. He shows us our limits and our inability to save ourselves. And he asks some important questions. Is humanity worth saving? Is there any hope for us to continue to exist in this world? He presents themes to us, the themes of sin and desperation. And he confronts us with the possibility that the human condition may stay the same even with all the heroic actions we take. But he leaves us with a longing. And the longing is this, that there is something more to our humanity that we cannot account for. Something more that will enable us to turn the dirt we live with into fertile soil and open our lungs so that we can breathe again. Well, we as Christians and Catholics, we know what this something more is. This something more is what we gather together this evening to celebrate. In Interstellar, love becomes the redemptive motif, the driving force, the non-quantifiable but ever real element of our humanity that drives us to do what we do. Love is our greater power. As Christians, this evening, we acknowledge and we know when love was born. 2,000 years ago. It was born with redemptive power to be the light that conquers the darkness we see around us. Through the small door of Bethlehem, 2,000 years ago, came hope. A hope that was so needed then and is needed even more so now today. The world was changed forevermore 2,000 years ago, and it can be changed forevermore once again as we approach that small door of Bethlehem. We do not have to go to another planet to survive. Our survival depends upon whether we allow what we celebrate this night to permeate our hearts. Our survival depends upon whether we allow the love that was born 2,000 years ago to be reborn in each of our hearts this night. Our survival depends upon whether we allow the love that was born 2,000 years ago to be reborn in our culture, in our society, in our nation, in our city. The love which consists of understanding, the love which consists of patience, the love which consists of acceptance of diversity, the love which consists of openness to other beliefs and creeds and races, the love which consists of a humility that others may have different ways of living and worshiping than we do. Very early in Interstellar, Cooper, Matthew McConaughey, sits on his front porch after a dust storm and he says, "We used to look up at the sky and wonder at our place in the stars. Now we just look down and worry about our place in the dirt." But Christmas reminds you and me when love was born. Thus we have the courage this night to look up at the stars and be filled with wonderment and hope, to never ever go gently into that good night, but to always rage against the dying of the light. When love was born, the world was changed forevermore. This Christmas, you and I are challenged to allow love to be born again in each one of us and to change the darkness into light.
Starlight shines, and the night is still. Shepherds watching from a hill. I close my eyes to see the night when love was born. A perfect child gently waits, a mother bends to kiss God's face. I close my eyes to see the night when love was born. Angels fill the midnight sky, and they sing, Hallelujah, He is Christ, our King. Emmanuel, Prince of Peace, I've come down for you and me. Heaven's gift, the holy spark, to light the way inside our hearts. Bethlehem, through your small door comes the hope we've waited for. The world was changed forevermore when love was born. I close my eyes to see the night